So how are y'all feeling about the red dye ban? What is it, number 3? How y'all feeling about that? Are y'all feeling like, okay, that's something, step in the right direction? Or do you feel like damage has already been done? This is however many decades past due, like needed to be done. So how do y'all feel about that? Something I wanted to start the video off asking. All right, but let's get to the craziness. So you know how this goes. Remember, question everything. You should. And these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
About this chemical, what exactly is it and how does it affect our bodies?
Well, this chemical is called azodicarbonamide, and you'll find it in a lot of breads in the U.S. And Canada, but not the rest of the world. Actually, the rest of the world either bans it or will put you in prison or fine you $500,000 for using it. That's because there's the chemical, when heated, it actually degrades down into a compound that is carcinogenic, and the World Health Organization has deemed it an asthmatic trigger. It causes lung issues in workers who handle it, skin irritation, eye irritation. So this is a very dangerous chemical that's being used in our bread.
So this isn't just about the, I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me, the scam that is organic or natural. This isn't about that, right? Because
no, actually organic breads are not allowed to have this chemical.
Okay, because people talk about organic and natural and all that, and there's nothing wrong with science. That's what pasteurization, that's science, that helps. So every chemical in your food isn't necessarily a bad chemical, but you said this one in particular is, and it should not be in there.
That's right. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that you shouldn't eat plastic. This is a chemical that improves the elasticity of bread. It's just for appearances, really, and really to line the bottom line of the pockets of these big food industry giants like Subway. I mean, they were using this chemical because it was cheaper for them to produce the bread faster. So it's just a great thing that they've decided to finally take this ingredient out after me writing about it for over 2 years.
All right. Well, Van, is it just about bread? What else? Again, many other foods, right?
That's right. It's in McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's. It's in Thomas's English Bagels. It's in Sara Lee. It's all over the place. And really, the FDA should look at completely eliminating this ingredient from our food supply.
So then why would it, we were talking again, you said there are carcinogens in this food. Obviously, Subway is removing it. You said it's in different things. So then why does the FDA then say it's fine? Because it's used in foods all over the U.S.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, the FDA isn't really regulating our food, and it's definitely not regulating this specific chemical. Actually, they have no studies on file as far as how this chemical affects humans. So I don't see how they can approve these chemicals for use in our food supply without any studies. And it's really sad that these type of ingredients go unregulated, but the food industry is in the pockets of the FDA, and that's probably why.
Let me tell you, everything is, you should have eaten that yoga mat with a little ketchup, or if you do a little steak sauce and soy sauce and mix it together, then everything tastes better. So I'm having a little fun with it. About this chemical.
Is anything organic? Let's start there. Do you believe that anymore? I know they got me for the longest. I used to walk in the grocery store whenever I did go in the grocery store to get something. Oh, I'm on my health kick. Let's get something organic. Let's get something that don't have all these calories, all the sugar, natural. You know, those were the words you were looking for. But nowadays, do they even mean anything anymore? Because I don't believe it at this point. I don't. And then second, man, hearing a lot of these things in chemicals in the food, it makes me think about, you know what I mean? Like, I lost my mom to cancer. So it makes me think about, did the food play a part in that? Because she had bone cancer, and it was multiple myeloma. And it just, oftentimes I'll get to where I'm by myself and I'll start thinking, you know what I mean? Was there anything I could have done? Maybe health-wise, maybe had her eat better. We tried smoothies. We tried all kind of different things. And it just didn't work. Over time, she just lost the battle. So it's like, did this stuff that they were eating when they were younger and throughout their years, and they just didn't have the knowledge to know? And then I question that. I'm like, do we even have the knowledge? Because the stuff they telling us now, 10 years from now, they'll probably say was wrong information. I don't know.
I know we're all excited about Red Dye 3 being banned, and by the way, that's by 2027, so we still got quite a bit of time for them to be compliant. But to me, that's slightly a smokescreen. Yay, exciting. But let's get rid of Red Dye 40, because in my eyes, that's like really the culprit. Let's look at some of the potential gut inflammation, microbe disruption, behavioral effects like ADHD, things like that. DNA damage, yeah, like that's the one, and I have a feeling the FDA is not going to do that because there's a lot of money there. There's a good handful of countries that have banned it: Norway, Iceland. What else we got? I think European Union, you have to put some kind of like big labels on it. Other countries, Australia and New Zealand, it has a lot of strong regulations about it, around it, although not completely banned. Again, that's the one for me that I think should be an issue, but that's going to be a fight because, you know, we need our red Skittles, I guess.
Yo, I'm starting to think people who live in these underground cities are a lot smarter than they make them out to be. They're ahead of the game. They're already preparing for whatever is about to happen, and we're still up here above ground trying to figure out and looking around like, what's going on? What's happening? Why is this happening? What's happening? And they've already done said, nah, we see what's about to happen. We're going underground. Like, I'm starting to change my view on underground cities.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I can do it anymore. I didn't even finish it, bro. McDonald's does not hit how it used to be, bro. I don't know why I thought this would be a good choice. You know, just a regular chicken nuggets, burger, fries. I feel bad eating it. Like, I haven't even finished it, and I don't feel good. I feel sick, bro. Like, I guess fast food's just not here no more. I think I might have to give up McDonald's, bro. I think this is it.
And see, you know who we never hear from? We never hear from the McDonald's workers. I want to hear from some McDonald's workers. Like, what are they seeing back there when they're cooking this food, fam? Because I'm the same way. I haven't had McDonald's other than their breakfast when we're like going out of town and we're driving and we want to stop and pull over somewhere, we may get a McDonald's breakfast. So that's the only time. Other than that, I don't go there. I don't go. My kids get it. I don't eat it. You know what I mean? And I can see why it just doesn't look like imagine the burgers you cook at home. Does that look anything like a burger that you would cook at home? It don't. I don't know, man. Yeah, it scares me.
Is there like an egg shortage or something? Why these eggs $23? $23.89. That's wild. These are the eggs that I get, $6.49. They're usually $3. Double the price.
I have to know, are there eggs where you live? Does your grocery store have eggs? I went to one of our main grocery stores. We have 2 Independent and Safeway here in our town. And the Independent bigger one had no eggs. They have had no eggs for a couple weeks, I guess. So, I needed eggs. I was having people for brunch. Local girl I know has chickens. I texted her. She hooked me up. She found me a dozen eggs. I paid $10. She were only charging $7, but I gave her 10 because it was like, you saved me. So I went into the other little locally owned store today, and I'm like, wow, they have eggs. Here they are. They're jumbo eggs. I don't buy jumbo eggs. They're cage-free. I usually buy, organic. These aren't organic. But I'm like, wow, there's eggs. I didn't look at the price. I went up, I bought 2 bell peppers and 2 dozen eggs. And she goes, $30. I go, what? She goes, yeah. I go, how much are those eggs? She goes, they're $13.99 each for a dozen. $13.99 for a dozen eggs. I have to know what you guys are paying. I have to know, is this going to end soon? I mean, I've done a little reading about the bird flu. But man, if you were ever going to have chickens, now is the freaking time. I mean, I don't want chickens. Don't want chickens. But wow. Please leave in the comments what state you're in and what you are paying for eggs. And if you have seen eggs. Like the store, like I said yesterday, had 0 eggs. None. So I'm so happy to walk in and see these today. Let me know. I have to know.
Yeah, I see a lot of people in the comment section suggesting, hey, bro, get you some chicken. I got one time to walk outside to see a dead bird, bro. All of them are history. Not with what I'm hearing with bird flu. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. That's ridiculous, bro. And then, do y'all remember when $30 was a lot of groceries? Was a good bit? May not all been healthy, but you know what I mean? Like $100 worth of groceries. Y'all remember when on $100, bro? You almost filled the buggy up. $30 got her some eggs and a few bell peppers. I don't like this Matrix simulation. I don't, man. It's too expensive. Who put us in the expensive simulation? Let us out. Nah, bro. We want to go back to where $100 you was balling. Like you was pushing that cart and you would push the cart and you would kick your legs up in the air and ride the cart in the air because you was happy. You was happy. $100? Man, y'all pantry was going to be loaded. Might have been all unhealthy, but it was loaded. It was loaded. Now, there's so much air in your bag when you leave out of there. It's ridiculous, bro. It shouldn't be. My bag should be full. It shouldn't be that much air in the bag. No. I don't like it.
Chinese citizens can face prison time for saying negative things about their government on the internet. So, while connecting with Chinese citizens on Red Note is a positive thing, it's important to take into consideration that they cannot tell you things negative about their ways of life. It is the equivalent to your next door neighbor posting everything positive about their life, but you're not seeing what's going on in the background.
That is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
Okay, right away.
Yeah.
There's no way to misconstrue that.
What does that mean?
Oversight and regulation for free speech is ridiculous.
Yeah, totally.
Just that alone, there's no way to misconstrue that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What she was saying is what I was thinking she was saying. She was saying she wants government oversight and regulation for social media. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's crazy for anyone to want it, because if the only reason you want it, right, is because you agree with the ideological bent of the platform, wait until someone else is in charge of it, or wait until there's a different government in charge.
It's also saying that the very thing that Mark Zuckerberg regrets should be happening. Mm-hmm. Like, she's essentially saying, why should they have different rules for Facebook than they do for Twitter? Mm-hmm. Like, what rules? Like, what rules? We don't have rules. We have First Amendment rights of free speech.
A long time ago, I used to live in Las Vegas, and I had a neighbor. He was some drunk former military guy. And one day we were talking about just nothing. And he had told me that he used to work out of Area 51. And so I was like, oh, yeah, have you seen the aliens? What do they look like? Blah, 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 yada, yada. And he would never, ever tell me nothing. You couldn't pry anything out of him. But one night we had a power outage, and like the whole neighborhood was black. You couldn't see anything. So the night sky was like really dark. You could see like a lot of the stars because there was no outside light to drown out the stars. And he was real stinking drunk. I remember this guy used to drink like a half gallon of whiskey every 3 days. So we're just talking and bullshitting, and out of nowhere he goes, hey, you see Orion's belt? And I was like, no, I don't know what the hell it looks like. And he goes, yeah, up there. He goes, you see Orion's belt? He goes, you see how you see two stars that are straight, very, very parallel to each other, and then there's a little star that's slightly adjacent and off to the left. And I said, yeah, I see it, whatever. And he goes, the bad aliens live on that adjacent star. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And he goes, yeah, no, he goes, I'm serious. He goes, the two stars, that's where the good aliens live. The bad aliens live on that other star. And he said the good aliens look like the traditional grays that we see in magazines on the internet with the big head, the big eyes. They're really small and gray. He said the bad aliens are brown colored, very tall, and they smell. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, because I didn't really believe in UFOs then. But he goes, I said, if there's really aliens, I said, how do their UFOs, like, how are they able to travel from that star all the way over here? Because, you know, we're dealing with, you know, rocket engines and stuff like that. And he said that the UFOs, they basically run on electricity that's created out of nothing. I think he said space. He goes, they have like a, it was really, you know, he said it in a confusing way, but he said that the UFOs run on electricity that's gathered up in space, and that instead of how a rocket is driven by thrust, by a combustion engine, he says the reason how the UFOs are able to go so fast is that like he said that there's an engine on a UFO that opens up a void in space, and it's almost like he said the UFO is not that it's being thrust, but it's falling into itself. I don't know. I'm not sure if I believed him, but he said it pretty matter-of-factly, and he was, super drunk, because this guy, you could not ever have told him anything of a kind. You could never tell, get anything out of him. But then he just goes off and says that. So who knows? It could be real. I mean, UFOs. I kind of do believe in UFOs because I kind of seen one. I'm not sure if it was real, but it was in the Mojave Desert, and there was a plane going overhead, but it was going way, way too fast to be a plane. It's almost like when you see a jet, and it's going over across the sky. It's probably doing 500 miles an hour, maybe 450. Well, this thing was going like 40 times faster than what a jet would be going up that high in the sky. So I don't know what the hell it was, and who knows? Is it true? Hell if I know.
So think about this, right? Let's start from the beginning of this story. Guy drinks an awful lot. Now, I have no way of knowing, so I'm just speculating. But wouldn't you drink a lot if you've seen some things? Seen some things and had to keep it to yourself? Could potentially cause you to drink. I don't know, maybe aliens? Seeing different type of species of aliens or knowing some information may have you drinking a lot. It's a lot to deal with. We never stop and think about, we always speculate about the people who work at Area 51. You know what they have to deal with holding that in and seeing that consistently? Just saying. And number two, I'm keeping that in my memory bank, what he said about the colors, right? The gray ones were the good ones. I think he said the brown ones were the bad ones, and they smell. I'm storing that. We have nothing to go by. So why not store some information like that? Could save our lives. We don't know. But we have nothing to go by. So when I do get something, I'm storing it, whether true or false.
Okay. This might be controversial. Call me conspiracy theorist. I don't really care. TikTok's about to get banned, so whatever. We're gonna make a video about it. I've had this theory, and I wonder if anyone else feels the same about it. So obviously 2025, we're in technology world, right? We are feel like we're transitioning into this completely different way of life. I mean, I'm a 90s kid, and I have been through the different generational of not having a phone to having a phone to having computers. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the progression. But my theory is that with the movies that we've been watching ever since we were younger, Hollywood has always been 40 to 50 years ahead of us. And I think that they have always known about these things that were going to happen, and it was their way of telling us our future. We're seeing it happen now. We're in 2025. We're freaking having robots being a thing now, walking around. I believe that Hollywood has literally been telling us our future, and people want to be like, oh no, that's not real. That's just fantasy. That's just made up. That's Hollywood. And it's
I don't know, because the older that we get, the more every year new technology, something new comes out, and it ends up being like, holy crap, I watched a movie that literally had that same thing in it. So that's my theory. Hollywood, weird. I don't know, weird things going on there, but I believe that it's almost like their way of kind of like normalizing it before it becomes a reality. And we're just living in some weird times. So if you disagree or agree, I'd love to hear your insight.
They got some witches out here in New Orleans, you hear me? When you walk past them, they putting spells on you. They putting little energy lures on you. Lures. They sending them lures at you, you hear me? Ran across a little witch the other day, last week, right? I just felt her little when I walked past her. You really gotta have an energy barrier. You gotta have an energy barrier when you walking around that you know really protecting you. Because there's some unseen forces out here that's really attacking you, and you don't really notice it until maybe a day afterwards by problems, karma, trouble, anything, you feel me? But I can automatically walk past somebody off the dump and just know, oh yeah, you ain't right. Soon as they walk past. And people be getting you like that. They walk past, they don't gotta touch you. They can walk right past you. And that shadow that's leaning on them, the shadow that's hanging on them, that demon that's all on them, hop right on your downtown. It's called the shadow people. So when you walking and you walking past them, they shadow hop on your shadow. That's how they get inside your energy field. So, you know, you ain't gotta just sleep with them, kiss them, touch them and all that. No. They got some witches out here in New Orleans.
Hey, my beautiful people. So she says New Orleans is a haven for vampires, not blood-sucking vampires, but those that feed on souls, energy, etc. Be careful out here. So this comment is referring to a post that I made where I was talking about running into the same individual in New Orleans. You can tap on it and go back and look at it. But yes, what she's talking about is very true. Now, the times that I've been to New Orleans, I have not experienced vampire energy. I've only experienced it one time. And that was when I went to the cemetery in Spartanburg, South Carolina, called Oakwood Cemetery, better known as Hell's Gate Cemetery. Y'all see me post about that cemetery. That cemetery is known for rituals. It's like right behind the college in Spartanburg. And yes, the vampire energy in that cemetery is crazy. I picked up on that like not too long after I entered into the cemetery. I'm gonna tag the video in this post so you can go back and look at it and just get an idea of what it looks like when vampires are buried in a cemetery. And like she said, these are not blood-sucking vampires. There's a lot of myths that go along with vampires that are not real. Most of the time, and I did a post about this too, most of the time it's gonna be energy draining. They're gonna be looking at your soul. But yeah, that vampire energy is real. Like I said, I've only experienced it one time, and that was when I was in Oakwood Cemetery in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Hey, my beautiful people.
It seems like more people than I thought have experienced some form of vampire energy or situations, encounters, whatever. You know, I didn't think it'd be that many, but there's a lot of people that have experienced something, and a lot of it is tied to New Orleans. You know what I mean? Respectfully, of course. You know, you always got to say that when you speak about New Orleans, bro. Respectfully, of course. But I'm seeing that a lot lately.
MTA is trying again to crack down on fare evasion underground.
Their latest endeavor focusing on riders who try to jump the turnstiles. Let's get right to Good Day's Briella Tomasetti. She looks at how they plan on stopping the problem, but are they really trying? Can they stop it, Briella, with this new feature?
That is a good question. We're all waiting to find out, Deshani and Dan. You know, some are optimistic about the MTA taking a new and somewhat drastic approach, but you know what they say, if there's a will, there's a way, and some people will try just about anything to avoid paying that fare. You know, they can put on gloves to prevent those spikes from hitting their hands, wiggle through a loose space. You know, you just have to use your imagination, and that's why others believe this is just a waste.
Wait. They put up those spikes to stop people from going. I still see ways right now that people can crawl up under. People can put their hands on the side of the walls, push up. I see the little arm thing. You can push up off of that. Like, that's what they came up with.
waste of time and money.
The MTA will be installing even more barriers in 100 additional stations. Also, bright LED lighting in every station by the end of the year. And the shameless toll evaders, fare evaders, will finally be stopped with modernized gates.
On turnstile handrail.
Please tell me what that's stopping. Y'all saw that. What is that gonna stop? Who is that gonna stop? And man, I seen some people with some hands that ain't even gonna penetrate none of the callus on their hands. They got some rough hands, so that ain't finna stop nothing.
Rails at the Lexington Avenue 59th Street station, which services the NRW 4, 5, and 6 lines. It's the agency's latest effort to combat fare evasion. In her State of the State address, Governor Hochul announced a plan to prioritize subway safety, which will include more NYPD officers on trains and platforms, new barriers, LED lighting, and modernized fare gates at 20 stations this year, plus 20 more in 2026. The spikes may deter people from using the handrails to lift themselves over the turnstiles, but won't stop fare evaders from climbing over or underneath them or whatever else you can think of.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you ain't even got to use your hands. You could just, some people are tall enough just to step right over and keep going. What is that stopping? I feel like I could even push up off of those spikes. You can fit your fingers through there, push up, and keep going. That's not slowing down nothing.
This will make the subway less chaotic, but also help strengthen the financial footing of the MTA.
Is it? Fare evasion costs the MTA about $500 million a year. In 2023, the MTA installed new gates designed to stop fare beaters, but a TikTok hack shows that those electric doors can easily be activated by simply swiping your hand over the exit sensor. And those aren't the only fees people are avoiding. Last week, city officials announced a proposal aimed at penalizing drivers who evade the new congestion pricing tolls by covering their plates with plastic, glass, dirt, or even bike racks to prevent gantries from reading them.
Yo, y'all are diabolical in New York. Oh my God, hey bro, people gonna figure out a way to get around something, fam. That was diabolical though.
Crackdown could include a $50 fine for parked cars with obstructed plates and additional penalties for those caught driving through toll areas undetected. An online public hearing will be held on February 6th, allowing people to weigh in on all of this. Interesting to see what comes out of that. Now, pivoting back to the fare evasion, last year the MTA started a pilot program at 3 different stations, including at 59th and Lex. It put a timer on emergency exit doors. Once a rider pushed the handle, there would be a 15-second delay before the door opened. The agency studied that and found a 38% decrease in evasion through that gate and a 7% decrease in evasion overall at those 3 stations. So we'll have to see what comes of this, Dan and Tashani.
It's a big issue.
Gotta try something, Briella. Thank you very much.